Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. His name is Craig Taylor. Mr. Craig, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Timmy. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, sir. Firstly, you are a cyber security entrepreneur. You are also a public speaker, and you are the co-founder of Cyberhood. Can you
Correct.
please, sir, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, sir?
Sure. So, my name is Craig Taylor, and I'm the co founder, as you said, of Cyberhoot. 10 years ago, I was in an opportunity to start my own business, and I thought, what should I build given my background and my experience? For the past almost 30 years, I've been doing cybersecurity consulting, building cyber programs to help Fortune 500 companies protect themselves from hackers and from breaches. And I also have a degree and a background in psychology. So I've studied the human condition, how people learn, what motivates them, how to convince them to learn cybersecurity skills. And I'd like to say a couple things about cyber literacy, if you don't mind, Temi, because it's sort of intuitive what that term means, but it's not used very often these days. Many people listening to this might consider themselves having computer literacy skills. They can operate a mouse, a keyboard, an email account, a calendar, and communicate online today. And they think that may be enough, but it's not, unfortunately. Those computer literacy skills allow you to perform actions online, but it's cyber literacy that can help you do it safely and securely, free from the various types of attacks that go on online nowadays. And so that's really what I set out 10 years ago to build in Cyberhoot was a program and a platform that teaches cyber literacy skills for individuals, and it's been very successful. So
Mm.
that's basically our background and where we got started. And what we're trying to do in the world is just keep people safe.
Mm. And I thank you for that, Mr. Great. Thank you so much, sir. And under this cyber literacy, have you tried to write any book, or are you planning to write, or is not something they are thinking about currently now, sir?
Writing a book is maybe a passion project I would do later in life after the
Okay.
dust settles. Right now, I'm very busy building the company I founded, co-founded actually with a bunch of other folks. And we're busy building positive reinforcement educational exercises for individuals to learn those cyber literacy skills. Um, do you mind if I go into a little bit of the industry norms that are out there today, Temi, that are trying to protect companies from
Yeah,
breaches?
sure, sir.
Okay, the industry as a whole, let me back up. There's a couple of studies that have been performed on how companies are breaches, Temi, and nine times out of 10, a company is breached through a phishing email.
Mm.
The user receives an email that looks urgent and emotional, and they're
Okay.
not thinking clearly about it, and they click. They click on a bad link or a malicious piece of software, and it leads to the compromise of the company, and ultimately the data that that company possesses gets into the wrong hands, or there's a financial transaction that occurs. And the way the industry has evolved in the last 30 years is to make better and better negative reinforcement training materials. If you remember, I started by saying I have a degree in psychology.
Yes.
And one of the central theories of that, you may have heard of B.F. Skinner or operant conditioning. This basically is how people learn can be done through positive and negative reinforcement training. What that means in practice is the cybersecurity industry as a whole is very focused on negative reinforcement training. What that means is they want to stop people from clicking on things. That's a bad behavior. And they want to reduce bad behaviors. But unfortunately, if you study psychology long enough, you realize that there's good behaviors that you need to encourage through positive reinforcement. And that's the difference. That's the other side of the coin. When you're teaching people how to avoid phishing attacks, it's just not enough to reduce the bad behaviors of clicking unless you fill that with the good behaviors they need to do to understand when they can react to something, when they should take action. And that's where the positive reinforcement comes in. We want to reinforce a user looking at the sender of an email for very subtle differences in the domain name that might indicate an attack or safety. For example, if you get an email from Netflix and it says, your account payment has declined, you need to update it to continue watching Netflix. If you look carefully at the sender and the domain actually says netflix.com, then you can trust that the email is most likely safe. You might want to open a browser window and go to your own Netflix account separately to log in and verify the information is accurate and then update your payment information. However, if there was a missing I in Netflix, so it was spelled netflx.com, and you knew to look for that, you could instantly determine, oh, this is a fake email, it's an attack, and I can ignore this and move on. And so it's through the positive reinforcement of those good behaviors of inspecting the sender, of monitoring emails for urgency and emotionality, of inspecting links to external websites and attachments and spelling, punctuation, and grammar, and all these different indicators of a malicious email or suspicious email, teaching those skills on the positive side and reinforcing their use is really foundational to teaching cyber literacy skills because it's just not enough to reduce clicking without the knowledge of what you need to inspect in order to take some action. Does that make sense to you, Timmy?
It completely makes sense, Mr. Craig. Like, I really learned from that. Thank you so much, sir. And this literacy, I know you said this earlier that you are the one that always use that term cyber literacy, sir. Can you please, give more discussion on what cyber literacy really means, sir?
Well, it's understanding the world we live in and how it interconnects. Cyber literacy can mean anything related to operating a computer, an email account, a business online today. Because, I mean, let's face it, how many companies and jobs out there do not require a computer or a mobile phone to orchestrate the job, to do your job, to show up for work on time because there's a meeting scheduled or a calendar, to communicate both with your clients or your own employer via email or text message or any of those things. The world has fundamentally changed over the last 30 years to embrace computers and very soon artificial intelligence
Yeah.
to operate the world around us and to make it more efficient, more productive, and more beneficial to all of us. We've all benefited from these synergies and improvements that have been made. But computer literacy is just not enough. You need to do the computing work on your mobile device, on your tablet, your PC, safely and securely, free from the harm that has been introduced by this thing called the internet. There are hackers in every country of the world. There are
Mm.
nation states trying to seek advantage. There are script kiddies and organized crime out there to make money through the online exploits of unsuspecting users. And so, with so many different dangers in the pocket of our jeans on a mobile phone or on our desk at work in the computer that we're using to operate. The world is brought into our lives directly. And so we need to understand what social engineering means, why someone would look at our social media profile to understand our likes and our dislikes and construct an email that plays to our heartstrings of what we love or don't or dislike tremendously to get us to click without thinking and then, take advantage of that. So when I say we all need to understand the ideas behind not computer, but cyber literacy, that's really what I'm getting at is recognizing that the entire world is at our front door, able to knock and convince us to do things we shouldn't. And we have to be able to spot those attacks and quickly move on with our day, not giving them a second thought after we delete the email or ignore the text message or the phone call.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Craig. And everything in this world has actually changed because I can't just believe this. Like, I would like to know if there is any step, if there's some simple actionable step individual can also do to protect their digital identity, sir.
Yes, this is where it becomes a little bit different depending on the country you're in.
Okay.
To protect your identity, you need to protect your personal information. That could include, in the US, your social security number. I think in
Mhm.
other countries like Canada, there's a social insurance number. It's a national government identity number that ties to your personality, to your person, and it includes your birth date, your residential address,
Wow.
your financial information. And so you need to protect that data very, very carefully from falling into the wrong hands. The unfortunate truth in the US is that so many breaches have occurred at companies that already had that data that the there's an old saying, and I don't know if this translates well to Nigeria, but the chicken is already in the fox is already in the hen house, right? The data is out there, and people can take advantage of it. So what we've done in our consulting and in our blog articles, and what your users would need to understand is you need to freeze your credit. In the United States, we freeze it by preventing people from getting a score on our credit. What I mean by that is no one in the United States can get a credit card or a loan without a credit score to ascertain the level of risk they represent. So with a credit score, it goes from, 200 to 800, 800 being very, very good and 200 being very, very bad. You can apply for a credit card and you will get rejected if it's below 3 or 400. You'll be have many, many companies trying to give you credit cards if it's in the 700 range to 800. But if you freeze your credit in the United States, no one can get that number to know whether you're a good risk or a bad risk. And so freezing it is very, very helpful. It's the only way to protect yourself from harm when all of our information, our address, our revenue, our financials, our date of birth, our driver's license, our social security number has been released to the internet to bad actors so that they can take these things out in your name. So the idea is that we freeze it to prevent people from getting the score to be given a credit in our name, and that's one thing we can do. Now, translating that to Nigeria or other parts of the world, there must be similar, government registries and numbers that
Yeah.
you could do likewise in Nigeria or the EU or wherever in the world you're located. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does because I think in our own place is NIN. That's National Identity Number. So that
Yes.
number, someone can use it to definitely know every information of such person. So it definitely relates to our place here. Thank you so much, Mr. Craig. And I would like to just dive a little more to the kids of today. A lot of kids today now are not really aware of stuff like this that are happening. And in today's world that we are living today, kids are using phones and they're also browsing and checking things online. So,
Hmm.
what do you think are the top things parents should teach their kids about staying safe online, sir?
Don't overshare, right? You
Mm.
don't want to publish your voice and your image online unless you're absolutely certain you must do so. In the future of AI development, a single minute or even 10 seconds of your voice and likeness will be enough for an artificial intelligence engine to then mimic you and become you with your voice and your intonation and your image acting out on a video screen anywhere in the world. So limit the amount of information you publish online to your close friends. Don't publish all these videos and self-information on social media accounts, no matter which ones are popular at the time you're hearing this, to the world. Short of you being an influencer who wants to, make that a career, then you know what you're signing up for, and the invasion of your own privacy is a given. But for young people of today, just be careful sharing and connecting with friends that you don't know. You may get requests from people you've never seen before, and it could be a fake account, and they're trying to uh, learn information about you so they can take advantage of that. So don't share unnecessarily online. Be very careful in those scenarios. The other thing is that schools are not teaching cyber literacy to young people.
Yeah.
Passwords do matter, just like words matter. And you need to have a unique password on all of your online accounts, which unfortunately means you have to adopt a password manager as a utility on your phone or your computer to put in unique passwords wherever you go and have them be unique. Because imagine this scenario. Would you use the same lock on your motorbike, your phone, your computer, your home front door, your car, and your online account? Would you use the same key to unlock all those things? So if I had stolen your key to your house, I could start your motorcycle or unlock your bicycle or start your car or any of those things. That's what using the same password on all your accounts is online. It's allowing one theft of one device or one account to be used elsewhere. And so this is why we always suggest using a password manager, because it enables you to adopt long 14 or longer character passwords that are different and highly unique between all of your online accounts. And you know what's interesting is it also provides protection so that if you accidentally were to click on one of those phishing emails that says, hey, please log into your Netflix account to fix your password or to fix your payment, and you click the link, your password manager is the only thing that knows the password. You no longer know your password because it's some random string of characters, and it won't give it to the fake website that you're attempting to log into because it is not Netflix with an I in the domain name.com. So it says, well, I don't know what you're trying to ask me to log into, but I don't have a password for this website that may look like your bank or your email account or Netflix. It just won't provide the password. So there's all kinds of hidden benefits in addition to having unique passwords everywhere you go.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir.
You're
And
welcome.
is there any possibility some people will want to, learn more on this cyber literacy and how to protect themselves? Do you think there's any book or courses that you could recommend for such person who wants to do that, sir?
Yes, absolutely. So even CyberHoot, we give our first 6 videos and a phishing exercise away for
Okay.
free on our website. So if anyone listening to this in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world wants
Mm.
to get free training, it's just a small um, giveaway that we have. You can visit cyberhoot.com/individuals. and I won't spell that for you because I'm sure all the Queen's English will work for you over there in Nigeria. But cyberhoot.com/individuals, and you'll be able to register for a free set of 6 videos and a phishing exercise to give you the consider it the 101, the university level 101 of cyber literacy, to teach you about passwords, password hygiene, phishing attacks, the importance of password managers, multi-factor authentication, and more.
Hmm. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Craig. Thank you so much, sir. And
You're welcome.
lastly, there is a question I normally ask, sir, from the ancestors, from the forefathers. If
Hmm.
there is anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that would be, sir?
Um, there's really just the golden rule, I think. That's
Mm,
something I would focus on in my life, and I hope people listening to this would have the golden rule. And that's very simple. Just treat others the way you want to be treated. If you're taking advantage of people as a hacker online,
yeah.
you're really doing a disservice to yourself and to the people you're taking advantage of. So
Mm.
I think treat others with humility and respect and how you yourself would want to be treated. I can't say anything else about it. That's what I would sort of end this conversation on. Does that make sense, Timmy?
It does make sense. I completely agree. Thank you so much, Mr. Craig. I want to personally thank you for discussing on this cyber literacy and things that are happening in the world today. This is a very, very valuable information people need to know. I want to sincerely thank you for having the interest to be on my show. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much, sir.
It was my pleasure, Timmy. You're doing a great service here for your listeners. Thank you for asking me to join your wonderful show.
All right. Bye bye.
I know.